Hi, this is Anne. This is a one-on-one pre-training session with Abdul. He is from Jordan, and he's willing to be recorded during the session so that we can share the whole process with everyone. Hi, Abdul. How are you doing?
Hi, Anne. I'm fine. Thank you.
So, congratulations. You are the winner of the free one-on-one training session with
Thank you.
me.
I
I
was
hope,
extremely fast on it.
so I hope that you are really excited about it. Okay, so here I will introduce you that you are about a little bit about your profile that you are currently living in Dubai, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then you have been trading for 2 years,
Yes.
correct? And you have the obstacle in your trading related to consistency. And
Exactly. Yeah.
okay, maybe you can tell me more about your obstacle. So in this first session, I want to understand so I can make a profile about you so that I can make a specific uh, training for you to reach your goal from this
Okay.
one-on-one training. And also understand that this one-on-one session will not be held only just one time. So I will continue to keep giving you one-on-one session for free until you feel comfortable and until you are confident that you can reach the goal to trade by your own. Okay, and I
Thank you.
hope
Thank you
that
for that.
along the way, I hope that I can give you a clear path or rules or trading plans that is suitable for you to be followed, right?
Right. Thank you for that.
Okay. Could you tell me like your journey into this trading and then until especially your obstacle like right now?
As you said, I started trading 2 years ago in the first of the pandemic. I wasn't consistent. I was following the signals, and I have failed lots of times. I lost lots of money on that as well. Uh, I have a job which is from 8 to 5, and this makes
All
me,
right.
yeah, this is makes things or trading quite difficult on when exactly I can trade.
Understood.
So yeah, therefore, I really like the order block. Okay, it's straightforward. I can say I will not say it's easy, but it's easy to grasp and understand.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so I
what is the most difficult part for you when it comes to trading,
uh,
implementing
t-
it?
yeah, I'm hopping a lot from currency to currency, from time frame to time frame. If I couldn't find the 5 minutes not working for me, I go to the 1 minute. I lose there and I lose here, and the 1 minute it's not there. This currency is not good for me. I'll go to another currency. This is all in the same 1 hour, so I lose 3 4 times. Okay, in the same currency, different time frames.
Okay.
So this makes me frustrated.
So your problem is in the consistency, right?
Yes.
And then you told me before we start the session that you want to know if the market uh, bullish or bearish,
Trend.
something like that.
Exactly. This is very
Okay.
important. Yes.
Okay. About market structure. Okay. So we will focus on market structure, so you will know whether the market is bearish or
Yeah.
bullish.
Because
And
you always say that this is not the trade that it's comfortable to me, so I'll not trade it. So when do you see that this is good to be traded or not? You will not be to not be good for a trade.
okay, okay. So let's just focus right now, like on these three obstacles. So if this
Okay.
is you, okay, so I can make later on, I can help to create a trading plan for you that you really want to follow. Now, you said
Sure.
that you have a day job, which is from 8 to 5. So within the day, during your day job, do you have a time to actually trade or not? I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah. I
so.
can.
Or
Yes,
yeah,
I
you
can.
can.
Not
Okay, I
not
can.
all the time, and I can't manage the trade all the time, but I might
Okay,
give it 1 to 2 hours a day.
okay, So you can manage during the workday 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yes.
Is it straight 2 to 3 hours a day, or just
Oh,
maybe 20 minutes there,
depends.
20 minutes
Yeah,
here?
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, so is not sure, right? Not sure
Yeah.
about these 2 or 3 hours, but maybe
Yes.
most likely you will have the time when you come back home, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So when you come back home, I understand it could be for family time or for your me time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you can put, let's say, to research the market or anything that can
Yes.
1 or 2 hours probably after or before working
Yeah, no
hours.
worries
Does
about
that make
that.
sense?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So let's right now create like your trading profile. Okay, this is your profile. This is very important because then we will create a trading plan that is suitable with your profile. So right now, if I ask you about the risk first, okay, do you think that you are a high risk, low risk, or conservative? To
Um,
find out about that, let's say you said that you are joining a prop firm, my
mm-hmm.
forex, what MFF.
Yeah, MFF.
Okay, so what challenge account that you are comfortable with? Is it 10K, 20K, 100K? What is it?
I started now 10K, so I can
Okay.
take a money and do the 100K.
Okay. So all right, I understand. So right now you are with 10K. Okay. So your
Mm-hmm.
goal is to trade 100K.
Yes.
Okay. So let us find out for this 10K. Okay. Let's say right now you have the capital of 10K from prop firm. So what is the maximum risk allowed from my forex fund? That is MFF, right? My forex fund.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. What is the maximum risk allowed or drawdown? The maximum drawdown.
Uh, per day is 5%,
5%.
and yeah, and overall 12%.
Overall is 12%. But let's just focus on this 5%. Okay.
Okay.
So you may not reach 5% drawdown. Correct. This
Mm-hmm.
is a big
Yeah.
no-no. So now, how much do you risk from this 10K per trade if it hit a stop loss? So we'll just measure it based on when it hit a stop loss. What is
Usually
your risk?
0.2, which is around $20.
Okay, this is 0.2%. Okay, percent. That's very good. So you are a low risk person, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
is like how much is that? So 20, right?
Yes.
$20. So right now, if your trade hit a stop loss, it will hit $20, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this 5% from 10K is 500, I guess, right?
Yes.
500. So 500 divided by 20, so your maximum losing in a row
20.
is
Yeah.
25, correct?
Yes.
But let's make it 20. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we do not want to actually reach this. Make this 20 losing in a row. And when it comes to the market, it is very possible to do this. All right, I mean to get this 20 losing in a row. So I want to understand. So right now, your profile. Let me just remove this so we understand right now. Oops, why did I remove that one? So because we still need it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a low risk trader because you are aiming 5% drawdown maximum.
Yes.
Okay. And then so number two, what time frame do you feel comfortable with?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
5 minutes. So meaning, so can you, okay, let's put it this way. Are you okay waiting the trade to be closed within a few hours or maximum 1 or 2 days, or you feel more comfortable when your trade finishes in just 20 minutes or an hour, or it
Yeah,
is an okay for you? Which one are you? So I'm trying to looking for whether you are a scalper, day trader, or a swing trader.
I don't like to wait for it too much, to be honest. I want really to have it directly in and out.
In and out. So you do you like to trade, like for example, uh, so you basically you do not want to wait even half day or a day or so.
Half day is okay for me. I don't mind half day, but the same day I can close everything in the same day.
At the same day.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you want to finish your trade within an hour or a few hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. So but if I you understand between a scalper and day trader,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So which one are you?
I would say day trader.
Okay, you would say day trader. All right. So we will put you because scalper is basically, yeah, it's very, you only want to trade no more than an hour or so, just in and out, in and out. But day trader
Yeah.
also the same. Oops, hold on. You are a day trader. Okay. So what is, sorry, your goal is to make the, to trade 100K, right?
Hmm. Yes.
100K, this one problem, right? To trade this one,
Yes.
that is your goal. You want to be able to trade 100K MFF, no more than 5% go down and comfortably, and do not keep failing for that, right? So, okay,
Yes.
and then now, number 4, we are talking about the obstacle, which is all around here. Hold on. Here, the obstacle, we are talking about consistency, market structure, confused about the time frame and everything, right? So we can define from your profile to make a trading plan for you, all right?
Hmm.
So and then so we will start we will start to create like a training for you based on your profile, and then I will see like how you should trade, how many trades in a day, and so you can trade comfortably for these 100K. Okay, so now
Okay.
here is the obstacles. So you already know that you are a risk trader. Okay, so now we will make the rules here. Here is the first rule that you want to do. You will trade between zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2. Why I put it 0.1 and less than this? Because sometimes you will have a bad day, right? And you keep trading. There are times, even though that you're a low risk trader, let's say on a bad day, well, if you trade it on the order block, it's highly unlikely if you lose even 10 in a row, unless you are like a scalper. But even scalper is barely 10 in a row, something like that. But just in case it's a very, very bad day, every time you enter, you always hit the stop loss, okay?
Hmm.
But then if you start to feel anxious or you feel uncomfortable, you have two options. Either you stop or you just trade zero point 0.1 until your confidence is back. Because when it comes to trading, it's not only the price, right? It's also that you have to maintain your psychology. So you either you want to stop or this. So right now with this 20, right now your risk per trade is always have to use this, which you already do, right? So which you have no
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
You already follow the rule. Now, you said that you are a day trader. So let me tell you let me ask you, how many pairs do you usually trade in a day so far?
So many. 4 to 5
4 to 5?
minimum, I would say.
Okay. Okay, minimum 4 to 5. Okay, let me tell
Yeah.
you, when it comes to a day trader, okay, when it comes to a day trader, like me, for example, I trade 1 to 3 maximum in a day. That is me. But yes,
Mhm.
some people may have a lot of time. They probably can trade from 3 to 7 if they have more time. But because you are because you have a day job, I think you will just find whatever a trade that find you feel. What is it? For example, you are seeing you are getting the alert from us, right? Do you trade
Yes.
based on our alert?
Yes, based on your alerts.
Okay, based on our alert, and then so probably yeah, because you usually get more than 5 alert, right? And
Mhm.
literally and obviously you do not need to trade every single alert. Okay, so maybe you can try to trade on average 1 to 4, or maybe 2 to 3 trades in a day. Just limit yourself. Okay, so maybe maximum just 4 trades. No need more than 4 trades. Because when you trade, for example, even just one, I still can make a good income, every month just by trading only one. Like this couple of weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, I was still in holiday. Yeah, so sometimes I just see, let's say the last few days, I got gold and I didn't trade for the last, yesterday and today, because I'm about to give trading, and also I have some other activities. So I trade simple because I do not trade prop firm. I just trade my own capital. So whatever comes to me, that if I see one trade and it gives me 1 to 10, I'm done for the day. Okay. So I would suggest you limit yourself to not over trade. To me, when you are a day trader and then you trade more than 4, okay, this is over trade. On average, day trader usually 2 to 4. So you limit yourself between 2 and 4. Even though you receive many alert from us, I know it looks like counterproductive. If there are chances, why don't you just trade it? But you will understand later on for what? For this consistency.
Agree.
Okay? So you do not trade like 2 and then 7 and then 6. So you want your consistency. So because you're a day trader, usually a day trader just trade 2 to 4. Why? So you can maintain the low drawdown. Okay. Now imagine this. Let's say you have 2 trades. Okay. You have 2 trades with 0.2. On a bad day, you have 6 losses in a row. That will become 1.2%, right?
Mhm.
Is it correct? Right?
Yes. Yes.
This is 2% in a row. This is from 2 trades. And then, for example, the second trade also you trade another six losses in a row. This is different pairs. I'm talking about different pairs. So
Okay.
this is pair 1, pair 2, another 1.2. That already make 2.5%.
Okay.
Now,
24.
yes, when this happened, do you still feel okay to trade,
Of
or
course
this
not.
already make you feel anxious?
Yeah, it
Just,
feel me
huh?
anxious. Yes.
You already feel anxious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is your maximum drawdown, not based on this. If you already feel anxious on this 2.5%, what you have to do, stop that day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is the rule, one of the rules. So now we come to conclusion that when your trade, why did I remove that all again? Hold on. So now we already understand, because if
But the
it's
one,
one,
the one, the 1 to 4 trades are on one pair or in
which
general
one?
in all the pairs. The one.
This 1 to 4 is pair. I'm talking about pair, like for example, GU or EU, whatever, different pairs.
Okay. So
Okay.
1 to 4 trades in a different pair.
Yes, in
Okay.
a word of pair. So you trade only let's say 1 to 4 pairs, okay? And then that reach max with max loses in a day, let's say
2.5%.
2.5%, okay, loss, then you stop, okay? Look, for example, if you win one pair and then maybe the next one is a losing, as long as it is not talking about this, many people, they just do not measure their loss. They always think about profit first, which is wrong. So before we start a trade, we have to know the possibility of how much losses that, or how many losses that we can get, and how it will affect our trading, right? Because when it comes like to prop firm or your own capital, we are not only talking just buy and sell. There are a lot of things that will affect your trading. So let me tell you this, okay? So I will just make a small small space here, okay, just for me, so you can understand what I'm is. Oh my god, why? Okay, I cannot do it over here. Okay, so many people, they always think in the big dollar already, right? This is like the big cake for them. Oh, I have $200,000 problem account. So they only imagine, if I make 10%, that's 20K. If I make 20, that's usually people do that, right?
Yes.
But basically, before reaching all these, they forgot all the small detail that create this big dollar. Does that make sense? All these small details that you have to follow and master to
Before you
achieve
think about the
this one.
profit.
Exactly, to achieve this one. So I always say, like for example, do you drink a cup of coffee? You
Yes.
like a cup of coffee? Of course, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you take a look at the glass, a cup of coffee, this is, yeah, it's not dollar, but you will understand what I mean. When you drink a cup of coffee, for example, you just enjoyed it, right? You are already
Yeah.
a master in a cup of coffee. But if we look deeper, you look deeper into this cup of coffee, there are so many details, right? So many details that need to be done before it turns out to become a cup of coffee. So you have to prepare the glass, you have to prepare the coffee, you have to prepare the sugar, you have to prepare the milk probably, right? Now, those are the small details that finally create a coffee. Because a cup of coffee will not directly appear, right? So there are small details. And now, these small details, if we look deeper again, the coffee and the sugar will not suddenly appear. You have to go buy a sugar, you have to go buy a coffee, you have to go buy a milk. If we go deeper again, you have to drive a car, you have to, there are so many small details that is unseen when you see a glass, a cup of coffee. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah.
I know this is this can be like a very silly example, but I want you to see the way this is the big dollar is your cup of coffee, right? But there are all little things, all little details over here that need to be done perfectly, correctly, right? And all of this small detail, people do not, people always ignore. One of them is the consistency. What is it? The risk. Most of them are rules over here. To have a cup of coffee, one rule, you must have sugar. One second rule, you must have a glass. Third rule, you must have the coffee itself. Blah, 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 right? So here, the rules to make all this big dollar, you also have to put the rule, I am a day trader, so I can only trade 1 to 4 pairs. And then the maximum loses 2.5%. Why I do this? Because it is related. Obviously, when it comes to trading, it's more complex than a cup of coffee. So you have to protect your psychologically, because when it comes to trading, the most important thing is actually our mental health, right? That you do not want to be greedy. You do not, you protect yourself from being greedy. You protect yourself to be always on track and disciplined. And also by doing that, you have to set a rule. Because if not, if you do not have all these rules and you are not following it, you will not go here to your dollar. It will always come back and keep trying. Why many people always focus on the strategy. I believe regardless the strategy, whether it is an order block or even just an EMA cross for that matter, any trading strategy. So that's why people always keep jumping from one strategy to another. But they forget the small details that they don't follow their own rules. We have heard about all this rule, that rule, and from many. But right now, what we are trying to do is to make a set of rules that is perfect or suitable for your profile, from your own profile. Because each person will be different, right? So we already we already got the what is it? We already got some rule here that you are or you cannot, you can trade in a day, and then because you also need to protect your mental health or psychologically during trading, because it affects with your money, right, in making decision. So you have to limit your loss, and 2.5% loss stop. So some people revenge, we heard, right, revenge trading and this and that. So everyone make mistakes, including myself in the past. So we want to create the rules. You see, after I personally set the rules for myself, last time I was before before I trade the same like you, 0.20. I was a high risk trader. I always trade 0.5% until one day, not one day, there was 1 week overall for the week. I lost like 5% of my own capital by the time. And it makes me so nervous because it never happened to me. So when that happened, I lowered the risk to 0.25. And that's where I am right now, 0.25. Sometimes I raised it into 0.30 when, like for example, this is 0.20, this you risk, right? Maybe at times you want to be a little high risk, so you make it become 0.25, for example. When you can do this, when you already have a straight winning, let's say you already have like 2% winning or 3% winning, then maybe you gain a little bit more confidence. But still, if you want to raise it, you do not want to risk too much, because sometimes, you know, some people do it. But it's better if you always stick to 0.20, 0.20% per trade. Okay, so this is the rule. Always remember that once you hit 2.5, and I believe right now, because you already understand the order block, right? Now you follow this rule, 1 to 4 pairs, and you are not going to maximum this. I believe you will not reach the 2.5% loss, because this is also almost the same like mine, because I personally also day trader, and I limit myself. If my loss reached 2%, I stopped for that day. I just stopped for that day. So the next day you can start again. What is the maximum losing for my forex fund? This is daily, right? But what is the maximum?
12%.
12%. Now you
Yes.
see that on a very bad day, okay, on a very bad day. So if you lose like 2.5, how many 2.5% in a day that you are reaching to 12%? Let's say for easy calculation, okay? You use 2%. That is your maximum lose, for example, 2%. Now, if you lose every day 2%, 2%, 2%, in a week, you lose 10%, right?
Yes.
You're still not out. But I believe if you follow what is it? If you trade based on like the order block and then you get the alert from us, I don't think you will lose 10% in a week unless you do something rather what is it different than this one. Okay. So right now this consistency we already have the solution. Okay. Here is the consistency. The rule, risk per trade, and also how many pairs. Now about the time frame, you already know that when it comes to day trader, you only want to trade on this pair only. This time frame. M5, M15, H1, and then you get the alert from us from H4 or D1.
Daily.
Right? Or maybe from weekly. No, I prefer for day trader is from H4 and D1. So this is the allowed time frame. You never want to trade on M1. M1 is a big no-no because you are not a scalper. So the minimum, the minimum time frame for you is M5, M15, H1. So this is what I usually do, okay? I receive the alert and then I take a look of the H4 alert or D1 alert. What I usually do, I open all three time frame. Okay, this is me. It doesn't have to be like always three monitors. Basically, just can open three in the same chart in the same one monitor. Okay, so I have three monitor and I open all M5, M15, H1, and then you can basically use hold on. You can basically just use windows here, tile, horizontally or vertically or tile, okay? So to make it three, it does not necessarily have to be three monitor, but the idea is that I open all M5, M15, and H1, and then I look at each of them. Then after some times, I decide which time frame I want to enter. If I feel comfortable with H1, then I will place my trade based on H1. If I see M15 is more makes sense to me, then I put it on M15. And then if I want to reach a higher risk reward, I usually just go to M5. But it doesn't necessarily to be always the one that you choose, you know? So you want to compare between these three time frame for your day trader, or you can also, no, I just want to focus on M5. Well, that's okay. Go ahead. You just can choose on M5. You see, some people, they have, we always talk about your age, right? Find your age. So it means that find your own comfortability. So maybe you feel more comfortable on M15, on M5. So it's really just up to you. But this, me personally, my personal preferences, when I get the order block from H4, I always take a look on all these three time frames. Okay, and then I look which one make more sense for me. So for you, how do you usually do it when you receive the alert? Do you always go directly to M5, or you compare between M5 and M15 or H1? How do you do it?
Because I don't have still the right method or edge, so what I do now is go directly to M5. Sometimes I go back to the H4, which is the alert, and do an order blocks on the 15 minutes, then wait for any reaction on the 5 or 1 minute.
Any reaction from the 1 minute? You take a look from the
or
1 minute.
5 minutes, yeah. 1 or 5, depends, yeah. Because I was always hopping between both.
Okay, so later on, okay, I understand that it is not a sin, you know, to take a look on M5, but you can take a look, but your decision supposed to be not based on M5, okay? You want to take a look at the big picture of from here. If you plan to enter from M5, you still can take a look from M1, but do not put your judgment entry from M1, because this is not, again, this is not your entry. You really have to stick to the rule. Remember, you are a day trader, not a scalper. Okay?
Yes.
So right now we don't know M5 and M6. If my personal preferences, sometimes I combine. I feel comfortable on H1 and M5. This is when I place two pending orders, for example, both on M5 and H1, and I take the risk, maybe one of them will lose and something like that, okay? So here is about the time frame is already decided, okay? So I suggest you to take a look on M5, M15, H1, and choose whichever that make you feel comfortable, okay?
Okay.
So right now we already work on the consistency, so the rules and everything, and then also now the confused about time frame. You are not confused anymore, right?
Yes.
All right. So right now we will focus on the market structure. So we will talk about the chart right now. Okay.
Okay.
So I will hold on a second. Now you can because this is recorded, so later on you can just take a screenshot, or maybe you already take some notes in
no,
here.
I took the notes already.
Oh, all right. So okay. Guess what? I think I will better just give you. I will make you become a host so you can share your screen, okay, and show it to me, and I will ask you like how do you actually trade or make a decision when you get an alert from us in this case, okay?
Okay.
So hold on a second. All right, so now you are a host. Can you share your screen with me? Maybe you're MetaTrader.
Sorry, but I don't know from where. Share screen. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I'll go to trading view.
Okay, trading view. It's okay. So do you see a button of share screen in there? All right.
Yeah, I already shared it. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. So is that based on the alert?
Yeah, this is based today. It was today based on the H4 alert.
Okay. That is the alert from Starseed. Okay.
Yes.
So
okay.
So hold on a second. I will use the annotate. So this is when the first market touch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is when the market touches over here. Okay. And then so what did you do after that?
So
when the market first touch here, what do you usually do?
Usually I go directly to the 5 minutes.
So you do not
go direct to the 5 minutes.
Okay.
And start to look for a break of structure. So usually I don't take the first break of structure.
Okay.
I usually wait for this to be taken, then take the second break of structure.
Oh, that's very good. You actually have your own preferences. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not always this a problem. I'm not always doing it.
Okay.
So in here, for example, so today I took this today. Okay, so right. I took it. So can I speak, or you want to say anything?
No, go ahead. So I want to know your thought process when you find, and then so later on, if I don't see any mistakes. So later on, I will share with you my thought process on this. Now,
okay.
Go ahead. You share your thought process on this.
Okay, so for me today, I saw this a break of structure. I was waiting this to be broken. However, it didn't. So I skipped it and waited this to be broken.
Okay.
So once this has broken, I put a bending alert on this order block, which is this.
Okay.
I took it with the wick, so it was 50% here. Okay, and I took 1 pip below 2.4. It was 3.5, like this, and I was taken out. Unfortunately, it was a very successful trade.
That was the one trade that.
Yeah, this is the one. This was by at least tick or 3.5. Yeah, it's almost.
Ouch! That's painful. I know it happens. It happens. If not, how many risk reward is that? It already reached about.
I was targeting here, so it would be 7.543.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Basically, that you should already get into break even, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you mind if I go back to H4? Could you please click on the H4 again? So this
Sure.
is basically how you trade, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when I receive the alert, okay, and then this one is hit over here, what I usually see for the first time, if I decide whether I will take this particular order block or not, by looking at this. So consider this one is not there yet, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
just see this, just start here. So first, I will see the market structure. Based on the market structure, the market is in an uptrend. There's a small scale over here. And then I see here is already break above.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, and I will tell myself, okay, this one is good. Well, basically, this is just a double, a double check if an order block is good or not. So every single order block that are sent to our alert are all picked manually. So obviously we already know if it will be good to take or not. Do you understand what I mean? Because
Yeah.
this is all picked manually. So I just want to double check, for example, because we human, we may make mistakes when we make the order block alert. But so I always see, okay, this is first, this is a high, it has a high probability. I check usually with the trend line and then trend line there and here, and then I see, okay, this is a break above. It is not always necessary to get to break above. Sometimes I take a look also candle by candle. This is a lower low, right? And then it already started making a higher low over here, right? And then this is closest higher again, and then higher again, and it keeps breaking, 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 and then it come back. So there is possibility that the market could go higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, and the second after that, when I see this one is good, so what you want to do is that you want to measure the high probability, because I personally sometimes do not have time, but I see this order block is good. So I always take, for example, right away an entry, okay, from 50% of the order block. This is just a suggestion. So maybe also if you do not have time or doing the work, you see that. But I have mentioned this in many videos that I always take 50%. This is a kind of a direct entry. And to me, like if it gives 1 to 5, 1 to 5 from where? So this is the stop loss. This would be my entry at 50%, and my take profit target is the last high over here, right? If it gives me at least 1 to 5 from direct entry, then I would take it if I don't have time, for example, to take a look into lower time frame. So I would put the 50%, and I do not aim 1 to 10, but I just aim 1 to 5. Let's say this is give me like 1 to 7. I will still take 1 to 5. For me, a direct entry is more than enough to take 1 to 5, okay? So that's one. And then so if I have time, and then I would go to, I would take a look on H1. Now, could you click on this H1? Take a look, we will see on H1. Could you click? Okay, so this is H1, right? So this is when you first get the alert, correct?
Yes.
So now what I'm gonna see is I always look left. Look left is over here, okay? So you look left, here is when you get the alert. This price is not exist yet. So I see if there is a nice order block. People know that I do not trade imbalance or candle mitigation. I do not use all that. To me, order block is just order block. It can be hit several times and still work. Okay, so now if I take a look, this is an order block. Okay, that is the breakout, and here is another order block, and here, sorry, is another break above. This is another break above. So I see several things. One order block, okay, Maybe I will put these two order block, and then also I will take this third order block. Then I will make a decision. Do you think that this is good? If I take this one, it will be the same as 1 to 5 on H4. Does that make sense?
Agree.
Right?
Yes,
And then so I do not want. And if I want, for example, if I am very sure this could be it, I usually take, okay, I will take 50% of the candle from the H4, which is direct entry, okay, that's one. But I see a very good order block at what is it? Here at the end. I mean, not at the end, at the really premium price below 50%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. So I will make this become an order block, okay? This is my first choice, is usually like something like this. As you see, this, not because this is working, but this is my thought process. I would look left. I would make this become my order block, okay? Now, if I were hitting this because this is H1, I usually still take 50% if it is H1. So I don't know if it is hit or not, right? So now, so you can see like how much it would make, like if I were entering this one. I didn't enter that one anyway. But I want you to understand my thought process on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
Would
so
make 5.
Okay, look, basically, this is the last high, right? This is our take profit target. And you try to put it like how many it actually can get. Because I'm not suggesting everyone to follow what my preferences. Maybe you want to aim this. Like this is like ratio is 1 to 14. You see, it has possibility to 1 to 14. Right now, if you see like this is already 1 to 5, and then so you just put the stop loss into break even, blah 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 blah, and this is these instances. With these instances, now let's see. I will put pending order here. Now let's see into M15. So maybe you can just clear the H1 first. Just imagine this another view on M15. Okay. On M15, look. On M15, and then I will sometimes look left, or I take a look just from directly. It is coming from here. Okay. I would wait for a break above. Okay, this is the first break above, you see, and this is within the this is the H4 order block, right? As long as it is within the order block, and then so I would put the break above. So some people may argue, my husband will not make this as the break above, but I see this as the break above. Look at that, something like that. Because when you go to lower time frame, like M5, there could be a break above over here. So I just put it candle by candle when it comes to entry on the lower time frame. Okay, so maybe you can argue, no, I think this is the break above. So this is the, what is it? This is my entry. Now, if I compare, for example, all right, this is the break above, and I compare this. But this is still above 50% of the H4, right? And I think, does that make sense? You know my thought process?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the break above, and then you see that this is the order block. So I want you to understand that it is not always necessarily that every single order block you take, you have option whether you will choose that or choose this, right? In my case, when I see this is still above 50%, but it doesn't mean it is not good. Why? Because after I have seen on H1, there is a very good order block rather below, right? In this area, the order block, right? In this area, when I look left on H1. So I wouldn't place this as an order block even though it is a break above, okay? Now, I will still look left. Can you scroll left over here so I can see a little bit? Okay, all right. So now, you see this? Here is the break above, break above, break above, break above. So basically, there are a good order block over here. This is the order block, and here also the order block. So you can risk, if I were to enter from M15, I may place this and this. as my entry. Okay, so I will just skip this because this is rather almost the same. So I put here and here. So one of them would lose, right? But this one probably will hit and it works. On M15, it depends like how many pips. For example, if Great Britain Canadian, what is the spread of your Great Britain Canadian?
1.4.
Okay, 1.4 pips, right? If, for example, this is 5 pips, okay, this candle is 5 pips, I would just take the whole candle. Obviously, I'm not going to take the 50%. But if this were, for example, 10 pips, I still can take 50% of the candle. So you have to be wise. It doesn't mean that you always have to take the whole candle or half candle. You got to understand that how many pips if this particular order block, and then you got to be careful with the spread. If this is only 5 pips and this is 1.4, I would take, so my entry would be here. All right. So this is why I do not trade the imbalance or anything. Basically, this has been hit, right? But I don't care because order block is just order block. You see, so you see that this one is hit by this. Still hit by this, and sometimes it doesn't work, but that is how I trade. Okay, that's how I would trade. Now let's go to M5. All right, most of the time when I go to M5, okay, what I usually do, is this where the order block here? Okay, yes. So this is. Most of the time when I trade on M5, I seldom look left because it's already like too much. Really seldom I look left. I just wait when the price create the first break above. Okay, so here to me the market is start going like that. Okay, you may see this as one move, but the way I see it, this is like this, like this, like this, like that, like that. So here, to me, is the break above. Can you zoom in? So make it right. Oops. Okay. Where was that? Okay. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. You see that? So here, to me, like that, like that. Here, here, there. So this is the break above. The first break above to me, okay? So here is the first break above to me because there are wicks over here. So this is my first order block on M5, okay? So if I want to scale in, I scale in only after this one. So if you know, sometimes like if I think, oh, maybe the market is going to go higher, for example, okay? Then I could draw this as the break above, okay? And I may enter this one, and then this is activated, right?
Yeah.
This is active by that. Does that make sense? Okay, and this one is not hit yet. And then it goes up, and this one is hit the stop loss, but and then so I will just wait and look. This is one stop loss. So you have to understand when you trade on the lower, much lower time frame, hitting a stop loss 1 time, 2 times, 3 times is very normal. Okay, but you do have a chance to get a higher risk reward. But what is it? You will also have potential to hit a stop loss more often than in a higher time frame because a lot of more movement on a lower time frame. Okay, so one hit a stop loss here, and then I may think, oh, okay, this is another one. So it was hit another stop loss for me. So you can note that, and that is the first. What is it? Two first stop loss for me, right? And then I will see, oh, this is another break above, and then here it was hit by this another stop loss, and that's 3. Okay. So that is 3. Now, here, if, for example, I am okay to lose up to 4 times, that will make, for example, 1% of my account loses. So this is start working. Now, we will see like how much it would make. For this one, I don't know like how much. Like, can you adjust this? Because I will make this the whole candle like okay, how many pips is this? This is 11?
This is around 7.
No, I will sorry, I will take this with the wick with the right one.
Oh, okay.
Until here, okay? So from here to here.
It's 10.
10, okay.
Yeah.
I will still take it 0.5%. It may not hit.
Yeah, 50%.
Does it hit or not?
50%, it would be here. No.
It didn't hit, right? So no. I may miss the trade. So I already lose 3 and then I didn't make any trade. Right? But let's see. Now it didn't hit any trade, and then here, what happened here? If I choose this, let's look to the right over here. Now it didn't hit as well, I guess.
It didn't hit as well.
Yeah, and then I come to the same place like you. I put this. And then it also hit a stop loss. So there you go. I hit 4 times in a row. If I were only focusing on M5, that's what's going to happen. I lost 4 times in a row and no winning trades for me. 1% like that, I usually done for the day. So I will just do it the next day. I don't wait any other. That's me. I usually, you know, when I have a lot of time, I can accept like up to 2% in a day because, you know, basically all this 1% or 2%, it can be recovered by just one winning, you know. So maybe these 4 times in a lose already make me feel not anxious, like maybe make me feel like lazy for the day. I will just leave it. I don't trade it anymore. That's me. I don't trade it. Enough. I will just say it. So I will not just keep looking, even though probably after here, for example, this is break above, and then here is the order block, and hit here and suddenly make 1 to 100. Let it go. It's just not my time. That's it. So I usually limit myself if a particular trade, usually on M5, okay, this barely happened on M15 or especially on H1. If it is on M5, that is very normal for you to have 3 to 4 losses, like what happened to me, and then the market say bye-bye to you. But that's why I always take a look on M15 and H1. If you ask me question, this is my preferences, and your preferences probably you always want to trade on M5, then go ahead, do it, okay? So I just want to share with you my preferences. I sometimes trade on M5, that is my lowest time frame, but most of the time I trade on M15 and H1. Okay.
But pending order, and you don't wait for a break of structure, right?
Oh, what?
Yeah, you'll set a pending order and you will not wait for a break of structure on M15 and H1, right?
On M15 there was a break of structure. In this case, not the new one. You want
the old one.
Yes, the old one or the new one. It doesn't matter. You can look left or just wait for the new one for the break of structure. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does not always look left. Look left is sometimes if you feel like doubt, then don't do it. Sometimes the new break of structure at the current price is look better. For example, you think this one is an order block. So you know why? When I do on M5, sometimes I take re-entry, but I barely, because on M5, like you see, sometimes it has quite a few losses, okay? But you will see on M15, H1, even a direct entry on H4 for day trader is good. But this is me, again, this is me, and it is not something that you also have to do or got to do. You got to find your edge, okay? Your own comfortability. So what I do is I sometimes just take on 50% of the H4, S1, or sometimes I take a look on H1 and look left if there is a good one, or sometimes later on, sometimes taking many hours because it is on H4, right? many hours from H1 to create a new break above. Let's go back again to H1. Okay, look, when it hit, right? When it hit, it makes right now, like I would consider this as, oh, sorry, it's not like really here, this one, correct? Okay, so if I were to take on H1 or M15, and then let's say I take this, I do not look left, for example, I take this as my order block. It did hit the stop loss, right?
Yes,
now,
yes.
In this case, because I take from H1, I can take another re-entry at the same level. So it hit a stop loss, it goes up again, and then it's working. And then since I take 1 to 5, for example, or taking this level, that it still gives me like 1 to 10. If I am aiming and if I believe that the market will go at least reaching this last high on the left side from H4, right? Maybe go higher. So I will put myself, okay, this time I'm aiming 1 to 10. So if it were hitting a stop loss over here, I would re-enter like up to 2 times, meaning I'm willing to lose 3 times in a row just from this one order block.
Okay.
Okay, but that's it. I do not trade like anything else. That's it. You see, I do not scale in on H1. I usually do scale in on M15. That's what I usually do. On M15, I scale in. On M5, I scale in when the first one is hit nicely. But okay, now we can go to M15 again, please. Okay, now this is just an example. Okay, let's say I will take this as my order block, and then it hit by this. Okay, and then I will take this, and then here is already a scale in. This is what I would take it a scale in, even though this is hit a stop loss, for example. But here's the thing: if I were to take this as my order block, it hit, and then I take in the scale in, I would put this into break even. So it will hit my break even over here, right? It will likely hit my break even here. Oh, sorry. I think because I will take it 50% over here, so it will not be hit. So I will have one stop here, but the first one is still running, this one, and already at break even. I may want to take another scale in because the price is still within the order block over here, but I already have losing one, and then I will make this as another order block waiting, and hopefully like that. But this one is already break even. If I were to take a scale in, another entry, buy another buy here, I will make sure the first running one is already break even. Every time I take a scale in, any other running trade should be break even, because you do not want to hit a stop loss. If you hit a stop loss 3 and then all become 3 in a row, you do not want to do like that.
Yeah.
You always want to risk basically only one trade at a time, even though there are 3 running trades. Scale in, put it in a break even. Sometimes you scale in, put in a break even, and then it hits stop loss, and the other one hit the break even. That also happens. All right. So this is just the first practice or overview. Later on, because you also told me that you want to know if the market is bullish or bearish. So later on, we will talk more about the market structure only. This today is like a trade breakdown for you, right?
Okay.
It's like a trade breakdown. So your homework today is just like you follow the trading plan that I already mentioned to you in the first 20 minutes or so. The rules, because now the consistency, you already know what to do, and then in terms of the time frame, you already know what to do. And remember that for this consistency, you only allowed to you only allowed to trade 1 to 4 maximums, even though that you got 10 or 15 in a day. Don't take it, okay? You just want to choose 1 to 4. That is the maximum trade you want to take. Okay. That is to protect your account and also to protect your psychologically. Is the whole, our psychology is in one package when it comes to trading. So you do not want to just ignore it just because you feel like a good time. So you really have to stay in the rule. Like imagine if there is a traffic light, just because you feel like, okay, this is a midnight and there is no one, so you just hit it anyway during the red light. It cannot be done, right? No, you still have to stop. You still have to stop. You just follow the rule. That if you are on the right track, you will be safe and you will consistent, and then so you will follow and you will trade comfortably. So this is how we train ourselves to trade like, not really like a robot, but trade better than a robot, because we see with our eyes later on, like how to read the market structure. But some other little things, the details that many people are ignoring, are those who are maintaining their risk and limiting, like how many trades per day they actually have to take. So this is for the day trader. You can only trade maybe 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 maximum. Over 4, it's considered overtrade to me, So I guess that is for today. But if you have any questions further on, you can ask me now.
No, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so I hope that you learned something.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I learned a lot actually.
Okay, so I hope you learned a lot today, and so you will implement. That is the only homework you get from me, that you trading based on the rule that we already taught. And later on in the next session, so I will share with you like how to read the market structure. Maybe I will ask you to draw the trend line, the channels, and everything. Okay, so that will be in the next session. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, Abdul. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anne. Bye-bye.